Chapter 10. They stop overthinking. If you waste all your time thinking, when will you get the time to live? Think before you speak. Think before you wish for something. Think before you go. Think before you take any goddamn decision. Think, think, think. Oh, thankfully, no one ever said, think before you breathe, or else most of us would be dead by now. By all means, think. But when you are constantly thinking about one thing and worrying about it, it becomes overthinking, and that leads you nowhere in life except backwards. I'm sure most of you can recall your childhood when your elders taught you to think before making a decision, because decisions have consequences that you might not be prepared for, ones that will affect your life in ways that you cannot imagine. But amidst so much thinking, overthinking, actually, have you ever thought about what life would be without all this contemplation? The only answer is that it would be much simpler. Without overthinking, life gets 10 times better. Honestly, thinking has caused me more harm than not thinking has ever done. It has burned more bridges than I was able to build in the first place. This is how it works. Imagine you have bought a new car and you have to drive 8 hours from one city to another, but you keep focusing on things that could go wrong on the way, to a point where you think, what if there's a puncture? What if I am not able to find someone to fix that puncture? And then overthink a bit more, and before you know it, in your mind your car is on fire. But guys, it was an imaginary journey. If you ask me, overthinking messes with your brain in ways that you cannot even imagine. I still remember when I was in high school, I wanted to get into my dad's business and take it to greater heights, but I made the mistake of overthinking. I found myself choosing computer science as a subject when I should have chosen entrepreneurship. And I chose computer science because I overthought all the other options I had. As a commerce student, I didn't want to take maths because I didn't want to go through the same torture of trigonometry in class 11th after my dreadful experience with it in class 10th. I didn't want to take physical education because there's no scope. And how will this subject help me in the future? Then I started overthinking that after school, I'm not able to do anything. I should have a backup. Maybe build things through C++ and Java. Yes, computer seems to have a great future. So let me take computer science. So this decision was not because I was good at computers or I knew something about them, but only because of overthinking that if something goes wrong, I will still be able to do something. Because, according to society, if you don't take maths with commerce, you won't have any option in the future to do something good with your life. And that made me overthink and take a decision. Now I regret putting a little too much thought into one of the most important decisions of my life. Important because instead of going to two other tutors to learn something that I still didn't understand, I could have learned something interesting or at least had fun with my friends, as out of my class of 60, only 3 people took computer science. Everyone else was having fun with other subjects. I'm sure most of you will relate to this because, as teenagers, each of us went through a phase where we just sat and thought about every damn thing. Why? Because we are being told by everyone around us that every decision you make at this age will decide the kind of life you will lead in the future. Really? Think about it. Is it really a logical approach towards living? Imagine what would happen to your favorite athletes if they started thinking like crazies too. What happens when they lose and their fans are disappointed in them? Fandom can drive them crazy. Nothing is worse than angry fans who just cannot accept that. Like them, their favorite athlete can sometimes fail. If they sit and analyze the whole situation too much, then they are screwed for life. In fact, a lot of our favorite athletes actually suffer from depression at some point in their lives. Such is the power of overthinking, which is why sometimes you need to not care and move on, like Joey does. Yes, Joey from Friends. Yes, he would have fun. Yes, he would not share his food. But care? I don't think so. You need to shrug off all your worries and just do what needs to be done. You know, worrying about the consequences of anything and everything is like crying over a breakup that hasn't even happened. And I don't think anyone needs that kind of negativity in our lives. So basically, my friends, you all need to just stop overthinking and worrying about the consequences of every action that you take, because thinking is like a prison and your success is the prisoner. Once you set yourself free, once you stop giving things a second, third, fourth thought, you break free. You will stop overthinking and start doing. Do all that you can, because you have got just one lifetime to prove your worth. This is your only chance to build the lifestyle that you have always wanted. Do it. Live it. Key takeaways. Number 1. Stop thinking, start doing. Number 2. There's something about your first gut feeling. Listen to it. It might not always make the best decisions for you, but it will always be the boldest one. And bold decisions without the thought of consequences can take you way ahead of other people.